Welcome back. Welcome back to the Detroit is Different podcast studios. And this is somebody that's part of the Detroit is Different family coming back. Actually, maybe like one of the most seen people on Detroit is Different because this is just like one of the coolest Detroiters ever. And this is my homie for real. Like when it comes to pouring into so many different types of communities, but really advocating for small business people, shopping local. If you got a business and you looking for an advocate, it's none other than somebody that's going to bring tens of thousands of people to come out yearly to buy your candle, buy your vegan macaroni, buy your scarf that you made from stitched fabrics that you got from your world travels, buy the cinnamon roll that you created out of your own recipe of the Delta airline cookies that you love. None other than Jennyfer Crawford. How you doing today?
I am doing amazing.
Okay. All right. I like that. So it is coming up, the marketplace for the holiday. November 3rd, I'm going to be there. You should be there getting not just everything you need for the holidays. You should just be there, period, to experience Detroit. All these different people coming together. How many vendors coming?
So we have about 200 vendors.
Wait, time out. You said 200 vendors.
200 vendors, all things Detroit. We never go over 200. Sometimes it's a little less.
Yeah.
But we never go over 200 because you think about it. When you have 200, right, it can kind of be the same thing. Mm-hmm. So that's why we curate this thing, and we want to make sure that we have a mix and a variety of all different things.
Now, of the 200 that get in, how many people was on the wait list?
So our waiting list, we have about 127.
Okay, so you all get this. So that's 200 there, and 127 was trying to get there, and they may end up there and probably get there earlier, but some of these tickets have already sold because vendors want to get there. How soon do your vendors sell out?
Vendor spaces sell out pretty fast. I mean, people get really upset when they go really fast. But the thing is this, we've been doing this 10 years, right? All things Detroit. We're still celebrating 10 years. And it gets harder and harder every single year to pick people to be a part of this event.
And that's what I really want to share about those 200 vendors. So if 200 people are there and it's another 127 trying to get there, think about how cool of an experience this must be for people to want to come and shop and buy local at the All Things Detroit experience. So 10 years deep.
10 years deep. And what vendors tell me is they say a great day at another okay day at All Things Detroit is a great day at another event.
So that means that for anybody that's ever vended anywhere, and usually I got my own entrepreneurial thought processes on this, that sometimes people just don't approach the pop-up experience the right way. But you'll come, you'll work all night, and then you'll go to wherever that is in the community, and you spent time, money, and effort. You got your shirts, you got your team with you, probably your family is your team, and you sit out there for hours and may make a couple different sales. That ain't happening at All Things Detroit. What's going to happen usually, and this is the rule, you can't leave before it's over, but if you get there late enough in the day, all you're going to see is people handing out business cards because they sold out of everything they got.
Our goal is for people to sell out. Our goal is for people to have long-term customers. So let's go back a little bit when you say like pop-up and the pop-up experience. Everybody knows how I feel about the word pop-up. Pop-up means temporary, right?
Yeah.
Because I always feel like anybody can sell. There's several pop-ups that happens, and a lot of them are very successful. And I just think that anybody can kind of fill a room and take funds and fill it up and just have business owners in a room. But with All Things Detroit, we build community. We want those people and those customers that come to this event, we want them to know about you. We want them to seek you out. When we get an email of someone saying, I don't know, I bought this great popcorn, right? From a business owner, I think it was Shed 5. Can you share with me? Because they want to shop with them right now. Again, so the thing is to build community, long-term customers, because you can make a lot of sales in one day, but we are all for longevity, right? And so that is why we promote all of these businesses, because we really want you to see their face and see those products.
And that's why the marketplace is so great too, because some of those same products that I love, like it's a sweet hot sauce. Yes. For people that like me, where it's like, that you ain't supposed to have all stuff with all that salt. and the hypertension and stuff. It's hot sauce that's like straight up like it is no sodium is outside of it and everything, and even seasonings, and that's amazing. And then adding a little bit of it, it's like that Motor City mix, the East Side mix or the West Side mix. I think the
Oh,
East Side mix is even better.
Oh,
The
Jettas.
Jettas. And then it's like other signature things that you're only gonna get from All Things Detroit over at the marketplace. Talk a little bit about the marketplace.
All Things Marketplace. So All Things Marketplace, started during the pandemic, right? Here we are, my business is doing large scale events. And so I wasn't able to do that. It was illegal per se.
Mhm.
So I got a grant and basically turned myself into an Amazon for business where we do shipping and fulfillment for local makers or nonprofits. Your girl never wanted a store. I mean, retail is hard. Retail is
Yeah.
hard. I mean,
Yeah.
getting people to shop local in one place at Eastern Market and promoting this event, I've done it over time. So it was easier for me. But getting people to come to a storefront and really understand what it is that we do, it's definitely been a challenge. But during COVID and the pandemic, it was different. I think that people were more intentional with shopping local than they are now. It was kind of like the trend that was banging. We need to keep people in business till it being like, oh, let's go back to normal now.
Yeah.
And so All Things Marketplace was just from a need. So I actually started All Things Marketplace in 2017. I wanted to be an online platform for the businesses of All Things Detroit so that people can find the businesses in one place, just like how they would at the event.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't go the way that I wanted it.
Yeah.
It was set up. People were kind of like, I have my own website. Like, what is this really doing? I use Etsy. And so I didn't completely cancel it out. And then when COVID came around and then I was able to get the grant, then I was like, okay. And I went over to the Build Institute and said, who's leasing your pop-up space? Then we became a storefront. We were doing deliveries. So the items that you see at All Things Marketplace are some of the items that you can see at All Things Detroit, but it's called All Things Marketplace for a reason, not All Things Detroit, even though people call it that. It's called All Things Marketplace because my goal and my plan months ago or over a year ago was to say, like, I could represent small businesses everywhere. There could be an All Things Marketplace in every city, in every state, and it doesn't mean Detroit. It could be whatever small businesses that can be represented in that area. And so there is sports apparel. We will be bringing our licensed sports apparel because our teams are doing well.
Yes.
To All Things Detroit. But there's also, there's candles by Sasha Sass Candles. We started carrying the Naturally Fly Detroit brand in the space. There's the 313 brand, which is a Detroitism. Detroit Kid. I can go on and on about these brands that we sell, but we're a gift shop. When people want a little bit of Detroit, they come to All Things Marketplace.
Yeah, some of the funniest gift cards ever.
Yes, we do. Paisley Paper Co. Andrea Williams. She is a great friend, but also a graphic designer. She has some of the cards are her personality. And it's funny, I don't really get a chance to kind of tell that story, but she is the queen of one-liners. And if you follow her online, she's a really good friend of mine. We became really close. And so when I think about those cards, I'm like, oh, this is something that's coming right out of her mouth.
That's funny.
And I love that. And she's put in that bit of her business, herself into that business of like just showing her personality. And I love that.
I like it. So formally, we go into all types of places because if anybody that knows me, like anybody seen us together, it's rare that I'm on Michigan Avenue around All Things Marketplace and I'm not stopping in and saying what's up to Jennyfer, because Jennyfer is just such an inspiration of staying at this. I had an interview the other day just talking about the creativity of it, and I believe you're one of the most creative people that I've connected with in this space of doing whatever creatively I'm doing with Detroit is different, but just inspirational of oozing ideas in the way that we sometimes can start a conversation that would be 5 minutes and go for 45 minutes about just ideas of what do we think people will respond to that's cool and fly and connecting. So I really want to say that the way you tap into creativity is inspirational. Ain't even really the right word. It makes some of the work here seem so much more real, as I do believe that a lot of people are not tapping into their creativity.
Yeah.
And especially when we don't tap into our creativity, I believe that devoid of our purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're devoid of our purpose, we're adrift. That's where a lot of the hating and the shade and just, not being aligned with what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And finding that purpose in the creativity, hence the creator, and being creative and being that we're all created, it can be so cool. And one of the things that you've done all the time, last year you did, first you did like your photo shoot campaigns were so interesting and dynamic. Like when you took on like the personalities of so many of
for women in that was for Women in History Month. And it was close to All Things Detroit, but I wanted to do like something different. And so also too, like with these campaigns and different things that, especially the photos that involve me, it takes me outside my comfort zone, right?
Mhm.
Because I did not, I don't like to take pictures, right? But people wouldn't know that about me. Now it's like kind of my job and I do it. But it's so funny, like my sister, she's like, remember you didn't used to really like to take pictures. So now I have these ideas. Sometimes I think it's a little bit too much Jennifer. I'll be like, I think that might be too much Jennifer, but I'm the face of my brand, right?
Yeah.
But I recreated looks from Diana Ross, Lizzo, and also Aaliyah. And these are all women from Detroit. Some people may say like, oh, Lizzo's not from Detroit or however, but it was fun to do. It was fun to kind of like be in character and embody like somebody else, right? And you had to get like in the zone. And so it was something really, really different for me. So now when I think about these campaigns, I think like, what would take me out of my comfort zone? What is different than the normal?
And another signature, and like this is the creativity oozing of like you're having fun. First, it's like the idea. Then the idea and having the courage to execute on the idea, seeing how people respond to that, and then having the willingness to do something like that again. The campaign around the holiday movies for the holiday market.
Honestly, that's my favorite one. I got that idea. So let me just say that D. Hughes, my photographer, dope, amazing. He can make you feel comfortable in front of a camera with whatever it is that you do. And we have a great relationship. And I send him these insane ideas of like, if I say like, I think I could make it look like I'm jumping off a building, he'd be like, I think we could do that. Like anything he just rolls with it, right? And he adds to it. So we're like the great team to do it with these creative concepts. And so it was my favorite one. Like I would post those. Right now, I feel like I would want to post those pictures every single day. Just creating 7 classic holiday movie covers, making them all things Detroit focused, where there was the Santa Claus, but I'm the small business advocate, where there is Christmas with the Cranks, where Christmas with the creatives. And the thing is not all about Jennifer. We're including others, these business owners, to showcase them as well. I thought it was fun. I thought it was creative. A lot of people, it didn't get the reaction that I wanted it to get. Because when you do things that you're super proud of, you feel like it should be.
It'll resonate.
I felt like it should be like standing up in Times Square somewhere, like a flat out. I thought it was amazing, and a lot of people did tell me that they really thought it was great and it was amazing. But the world that we live in is that people show how things are great and amazing when they like it or share it or whatever it is. And I didn't get a lot of that, and I didn't get discouraged. I just felt like maybe they didn't feel about it the way that I did.
So now you guys are gonna get on like these are conversations we have. Now you all are like it's moving from interview feel, and this was maybe like the more formal interview style because we went through some of what's coming. Be there on November 3rd because I just gave you so much of a teaser of why you need to connect with November 3rd. Now y'all just getting to like homies talking. I think that sometimes people see something and they're just not ready for it. It's like it's such a rich experience that you don't know where to contextualize things. And I believe now this is really where y'all gonna get inside my mind of friendship and stuff. The programming of how we receive messages, even when we look at what's happening with the presidential campaigns.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, yes.
Our minds are so triggered by the angst, the fight, that's where things are. The response now and I'm not speaking this up, but if you and I were to draft some type of controversy around things,
Oh yeah, for sure.
the amount of energy that would go into that, even if it were positive energy of, oh, we love you and da 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 da, whatever it may be. Like if like let's say Macaulay Culkin says, hey, I'm coming to All Things Detroit. And then 2 days later, it's like, I don't ever want to come to Detroit. That right there would be something that society will respond to a whole lot more
Oh, for
than
sure.
Macaulay Culkin saying, yo, I love this ad and I want to be present.
Yeah.
Because our minds have been programmed and triggered into something like that. So connecting to rich experiences that are fulfilling, when people are there, they love it because they're abundantly talking about what that experience is. But to just from the outside in, I think inside these devices, these devices, we're so much more amped to like what we don't like.
Yeah,
and
I completely agree
that
with
world
you.
of programming is so, like if it was how it's a share. If Instagram created and if all these social medias created share because I hate it,
Yeah.
I think that would be so abundant because that's really the focus of where a lot of people's hearts and minds are right now.
Yes, it's a lot. It is really a lot. Like I said, those things don't discourage me, right? Because the thing with the campaigns and the things that I create for this event is that I don't do it on trend, right?
Yeah.
I don't do everything that's on trend. What I do is what feels good to me and what I feel is going to promote this event and shine a light on it that works best for me in a positive way.
And that right there is why the creativity matters so much to me. And hence, like the Detroit is Different events, I will hope the experience is what people walk away with. Like, damn, I don't feel that because so much of what we feel right now, it's just not that poured in feeling of we in the same age
about it all the
range,
time. And the thing is, it's like right now, everything that you said is completely the truth.
Yeah.
The thing is, like every time you go online, you're looking at Diddy and the election and all of these things. And so for me as a person, I'm looking at all of these things that we see online. And I'm thinking like, yeah, people do. If there was subliminals I was putting up, if it was this, whatever, people go into that. And that is the reason why for this All Things Detroit, I'm like, you know what? All the world is so heavy. I just want to feel like a kid again.
And to register that in our mind, it takes a while. Because the current campaign, and you just showed me, and I was like, I haven't seen, usually I see a lot of things. And also, that's the other part of the programming of these computers is smart design. Yeah. So if our mind is, you look at 2 Jaguar Wright interviews and your mind, your everything in your that you're gonna see and come up will be, well, this is Jaguar Wright's person that used to work with Jaguar Wright that's saying some Jaguar Wright stuff about Jaguar Wright,
It's everywhere. And it's like, because even myself, there's certain things I look at, it comes right up. I look at a lot of different stuff online and share it with my sister and go through, all of that too. I mean, it's something that we become accustomed to.
We're in that same society, but your mind and my mind of looking to create some of those experiences, like to me, when I saw the ad, this is what I immediately think of. And I don't know if other people from the D, for real, like this is some real old school Detroit stuff. But the big boys across the street from Belle Isle, like it just reminds me of that, like in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of being there or Sinbad's with your family, like, which is common Detroit experience, but nothing so elaborate where, your family couldn't get there, but you could attain it in a moment in time. That's a snapshot like 92, 93, 94. That's that.
It is. It definitely is. And it's just like, okay, I want to feel like a kid again, right? I want to go back to the mindset. Where can I go where I can feel like a kid and I can just be happy, even if it's just for that one day, even if it's just for that time. We want you to walk through the door. I always tell people that All Things Detroit is an experience and it's also a vibe. Yeah. There is no way in hell, and I'm going to say this, sorry, that you can walk through All Things Detroit and be angry about anything. Yeah. Because I'm going to make sure, and if they're not smiling when you come in, somebody's going to let me know. But you are greeted with a smiling face. The overall vision of this, really, when we say support local, if you can't spend money to come in, I always tell people, if you can't shop, I get it. But guess what? Talk to the business owners, compliment them on their products. Tell a friend about the products. Tell a friend about this great experience. But when you come to this All Things Detroit, you'll be able to kind of come in and, get, if you're a Beat the Crowd, you get your shopping bag. You'll be able to get a hat, a Santa hat with your name on it. It's like going to the mall back in the day, getting a picture with Santa and feeling like how you felt when you were with your parents. Like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And so I want all those classic holiday vibes and feels. And so for this one, I had to tap back into like my childhood. And I was just like, everything is AI. Everything is shopping online. I asked my niece's boyfriend, he was working with me one day, DJ. I said, DJ, do you know what a catalog is? He's 21. He's like, catalog? And I'm like, yeah, a catalog. He's like, what kind of catalog? I'm like, he's like the little thing Amazon sends out. I'm like, no. I said, J.C. Penney, and like C's like J.C. Penney. And I'm like, and Sears. He's like, oh, I didn't shop there. I'm like, maybe your mom did, because his mom's like, I think a little older than me. And I'm like, though there was a catalog that was sent out, fall and summer and holiday. Like, these were things that were sent out to, and that's what you ordered from. There was no online, get it in 2 days. It got sent to JCPenney for pickup, right? Yeah. Or however, and you went to go do that. And so he was like, oh, never seen that before. I didn't know about it. And then boom, a light bulb went off in my head. And I said, I'm going to recreate that. I'm going to, take us all the way back to our childhood.
Yeah. That made me remember, you probably remember this too. And it totally, I totally forgot about it. But when I interviewed Buddha, 2-time collard green cook-off champion.
Buddha used to participate in All Things Detroit.
His start in being a chef, after he started at Focus Hope, like one of the first places he worked was at the kitchen inside of Macy's, inside of Northland, which made me remember all the stuff that used to happen other than the cookies down in the basement of what you call it, but like just the staging and the restaurants over there and all that stuff, and just those experiences around the holidays and what it was, which is a different time in America. But at the same time, it triggers back some of those emotions of childhood and where things were. It really, that wasn't even Macy's. That was back when that was Hudson's.
I was going to say that. I was like, let him finish this one out. That was Hudson's. And I remember going with my aunt. My aunt, she did not have a car. She did not drive. But every Saturday, she caught the bus to Eastland Mall. She went from Eastland Mall either to pay a bill or do a little shopping. She went from there to going to Kroger and A.L. Price on 7 Mile and Ross by St. John's Hospital.
Okay.
And then from there, she caught the bus back to a neighborhood grocery store on Warren and Connor and Warren.
Okay.
And it used to be a Kroger, and then it turned into like a food, something, another food grocery store. And that was her routine every single Saturday.
Wow. And
so I would catch the bus with her every single Saturday as a young girl to hang out with her. She didn't have she had one boy, and I was, her favorite niece, right? I'm not going to tell my other nieces that, but, and then around the holidays, same thing. And I would always get something, not necessarily like clothes or something. It could be like a sweet treat to take home or something like that. Yeah. But it was like a tradition of something that we did. And then even around the holidays, I love to go with her because it was always like, just different things that we did together and the things that we would see, because when you're riding that bus through kind of like the Grosse Pointe area, sometime you'll be able to see the light. And, we weren't rich. We didn't have like a car, but I always told her when I get older, like, we are not going to be out here on the bus. Like, I am going to drive you to the store. And I did do that when I got older. But I just remember those traditions that I had with her. I remember the things, certain traditions with my mother used to eat peanuts with these after dinner mints. And we had this old school cookie jar, and we had this fruit, these oranges and apples that we set out that nobody ate because they really just wanted the cookies. So I just remember that feeling as a kid. And I always tell kids, like, even my son, I say, listen, this is the easiest job you're going to ever have to do. Because when you become an adult, it's so many feels. And I think that sometimes a lot of us can take on the weight of the world, right?
And that's the other part of that childhood.
Mm-hmm.
That imagination is the creativity.
Yeah.
And yeah, growing up can break a lot of those spirits and imaginations. Even if a person tells them, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, that's stupid. You don't need to do that. And then when that imagination is broken, that grounds people, I say, in something adrift. So to tap back into that creativity triggers something else. That's where ideas come together. The the concept of bringing all these different types of people together and just how cool that is. And the other thing about all things to trade is a lot of the people that are there, part of it, they're in front of their table. They're not necessarily always behind
Yes.
it.
You got to
They're
get in front
wanting
of
to
the
interact
table.
with you. They're immediately wanting to greet you and connect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, I'm behind my table, kind of kick back, what
Get
you
off your
want.
phone. Like,
Yeah.
you can't, you got to get off your phone. You got to engage. All Things Detroit is a type of event where it's like you got to move fast, right? Because people
Mhm.
are going past that table. And we also send out a lot of emails to the vendors. I know they'll be thinking like, this lady is like
Crazy.
writing a book. But we send them out just different ideas. We always send a link to the tickets. We always send a link for the flyer. We always like just engage with them. Like for this All Things Detroit, we want everyone to decorate their booth for the holidays.
That's cool.
And we're going to pick the best booth. And the best booth gets a free vendor space, 8x10 space to the next All Things Detroit,
See,
right?
there you
So
go.
it's like getting people to really get in the spirit. I know it, and that's not an original idea. I know another company that I've worked with before, the ladies of the Vintage Market, they've done that before because but they're also decorators, right? That's their passion. They're like,
Mhm.
they're decorators. Like the decor is a huge part of their event. And for me, decor is never really I would say the structure and just all of those things is more important to me, like the running smooth and
And
and that type of thing. Yeah, and they're really into decor and they're great at it. And so for me, I was just like, well, maybe if we have vendors kind of decorate their own booths and giving them an incentive to really like get in the spirit and be a part of it.
which that's the other thing you're phenomenal at. Marketing, but also the logistics. If you just also happen to like park across the street from All Things to Trade and watch the day before and then get there at probably like 5 o'clock in the morning and watch the day of and see the team and where everyone knows where the stations are and how things go. And there's a lot of our folks working there for sure. You know how Detroit is different, loves legacy, black Detroit. People that are intentional,
Yes.
hardworking, ready to serve, dispelling so much of like where things could go, and all from you. It's like this isn't All Things Detroit is for real the engine that you've poured a lot into, and others
Yeah.
have joined you, but it's not a part of some corporate conglomerate or something like that. That's a Jennyfer thing. So when I see that and know that this is what I see and what's poured into, and it's a welcome experience for everyone in the Metro Detroit area and beyond.
Yes.
But to know that that's from the mind of somebody that is from Legacy Black Detroit, that's phenomenal. So I've contextualized that for so many people
You
because
gonna make me
so
cry.
many people think that All Things Detroit is like something that is like, oh, well, the state must do this or the city must do this or it has to be a combination of all these different businesses. It's like, nah, this is something over 10 years, brick by brick, the intentionality of a person that wanted to create an experience that they wanted to connect to. So that's what I see when I see All Things Detroit.
Man, you gonna make me tear up a little bit. I really love it. I love what I do. Like I just meet some great people. Like I just remember being, it just goes back to being like a young girl and feeling like I don't have a talent, right? I don't have a talent. All I know how to do is like work, right? All we are taught to, get you a job. You work there for 30 years, you retire, even though my parents didn't do that. But that's like what's drilled in your head. Like it wasn't ever like, you gotta go to college and you gotta do this. Like there are no entrepreneurs in my family. Not one. There aren't. Because they're programmed like you gotta get that paycheck. So when I got into this, for me, it's just like I am just not content with. It has nothing to do with when I say this. I don't want it to make it seem like I want material things, but I am just not content with like the bare minimum of things. Of meaning like you just go to work, and you get your check, and then you struggle, and then like and maybe I'm not saying it right, but I'm just trying to think of the right way to say it. Like, it's not a popularity thing for me, but I feel like my strive and thing is just to be a good person.
And I definitely believe, I would say, it's to have the experience that you want in life.
The experience
You
that
know?
you want in life, like you create. I never believed, and I'm going to say it this way. I never believed that I could create my own job and my own like destiny, right? I never thought I could create that.
Yeah,
I
and
was always told that this is the opportunity, and when it's given to you, that's just what you do. That's the
and
way of saying it.
you've done that so much. Like, I would say, you don't run with Jennifer if you plan on not dreaming big, because Jennifer's gonna keep pouring in and pouring in and pouring in and pouring in of like, this can be here, this can be here, this can be here. So that's the circle. And that's so overused, but that's the type of that's the
Yeah.
relationships, the friendships that you need. Like, when people say, "Damn, how you doing this?" and it's like, because I'm running with people that's doing the
Yeah.
impossible, as opposed to a person that and we know it's just real. Like I say, a lot of people, their spirit is broken through creativity. It's easy to be around somebody that's like, "Oh man, don't try to do that," you know.
And I think also too, I think that being very transparent is that this year has been hard. This year has been hard. Like, I think that this year I have been struggling with like, what am I really good at? What do I really want to do? But also knowing that, Jennifer, all these things that you want to do are obtainable.
Yeah,
But you have to believe it for yourself to get it.
that right there.
And I
is-
think,
yeah.
and so the way that I believe in all things Detroit, the way that I believe in some of the vendors businesses that participate, I believe in them so much. Like, they can call me and be like, I feel like I want to quit. And I'm like, oh, don't you dare.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot. But I think that sometimes those things that I have to believe that in myself. Like, I know that I can be creative. I know that I can structure an event. But I think this year, in this 10th year, I think it was a thing of me trying to figure out, like, what's next for me? Like, what else am I good at? Like, I love to interview people. I love to talk to people. I love to meet new people. I like to structure events. And so I had a reading, but I also had like someone say to me, like, Jennifer, I just see something so big for you. And I'm just like, she was like, you have to put yourself in the forefront.
Mm.
And I'm like, I do that already, because I talk about the Jennifer, Ask Jennifer and the brand. And I'm like, well, I do that already. And she's like, no, you promote other people, and that's great. And I don't want you to stop doing that, but you have to put yourself in the front first. And it just kind of made me think, like, what does she mean by that? Because I feel like I do that. And I'm thinking, like, in some cases I do, in some cases I don't. And I think what she meant by that was just like really figuring out like what you're passionate about and what you really want to do, but also knowing that it is obtainable.
I believe that most definitely I would concur with that. And for anyone in life, as we're really having this discussion through our friendship, connecting to others, but yeah, selling yourself is the toughest person to sell.
Yeah, it is.
Because you know yourself better. You know, if you, for lack of a better term, if you BSing yourself, you know it.
Yes.
You know if you really put that effort in. So like, sometimes you'll get a victory and it's a victory, but was it really all you could do? Hence, taking a loss on something where I poured in all the way,
I've done that.
it's tough,
Right, yeah.
but it still feels pleasurable to know that I put it all in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that witness that, that's how you get a friendship with a Jennifer. Versus then sometimes getting a win, but you really didn't work to where you could be. Like, pouring in where you can pour in, it's tough. But when you get the win and you do pour in, even better. And opportunities begin to present themselves. And people are witnessing, people are watching. And I can say that, yeah, logistically, brilliant mind. Definitely creatively and through marketing and
Thank
how to
you.
do that. Social media, I think you're one of the greatest social media people I've ever known without a scratch.
Thank you so much.
Because some of this stuff, it's like other people have access to other resources. So when I see stuff, I don't usually see it just one for one. I see it as, especially like we start with, if you're leaning into the conditioning of where people are.
Yeah.
That's different. But if you're feeding people and driving people to something where they're not, and it's sincere with you, that's going to take a longer time to connect. But when it connect, bam.
It works. And also too, for me, is that I get the question all the time that's asked, like, you would get so many people at All Things Detroit if we get a lot of people already, but they like, you would just get so much more if you like hire an influencer or hire a celebrity to come to All Things Detroit. And I always tell them there are 200 celebrities that I want people to see.
Yeah.
And those are the people that we promote that are here, because if everybody's coming to see one person who's there, if we have a performer or something like that, then that's taken away from those business owners who pay to be there in that space, who some of them rely on that income to feed their families, to feed themselves. And so to me, that aspect is more important than just having people just run in and pay a $5 fee to see one person. I want you to stop at every table if you can.
And that's more of like what we say, the conditioning of where things are now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the way it's been so many times in my travels where people will take a picture with the celebrity, and then you be like, damn, I didn't even know you really liked them. Like, I don't even like them, but I just want to put it on Instagram. So it's like they're even feeding into the culture of something they don't even believe in. So, people are walking around here thinking like, man, I walked in the room, I just took 400 pictures. I assume these 400 people like me. Nah, they taking a picture with you, putting it on their Instagram, and they don't even necessarily connect with you. Like, this is where society is right now.
It is.
You know what I mean? Just the whole concept of like, I mean, so many experiences now people go to, and this is how they experience everything. They got their phone up the whole time. Whereas it's like, when do you break from it and just sit? Like, it's not a lot of things I love. Like, the live experience most for performance I love is comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And at the comedy show, in the promotion of it, it may be a little bit different. But if I see some of my favorite comedians, like Ali Sadiq is going on my list, I gotta see him next year.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I'm gonna be doing is trying to stream that. I just want to be present and laughing at the joke, not thinking, man, do I got the right angle here? Is the lighting correct? Is the seat like that? Is gonna take away from the experience of whatever the flow of the show is to me. And I'm not saying anything about the person that their experience may be
for sure
through the screen. But I do know through the screen, as a person that does a lot of stuff with cameras, you're thinking about so many other things.
Oh, definitely thinking about so many other things. And it is the way of the world right now. That's what people kind of connect with. That's what they tie into. And of course, if there was some big time person, I would get all of those people to come to All Things Detroit because they want to see that person. But like I said, I think what has made me successful over this time is that even when it was bad, I was just trying to build, even when I was trying to get people to really understand my purpose and why I do this, is I just stay true, right? Stay true to my passion and what I truly believe in. And it's like, I really believe in these people. Like, they are investing this money in me because they believe that I can put something together. So I just talk to people who do events and they do pop-ups or whatever. I say, people are giving you money because they believe they're investing in you, because if you do an event like a pop-up or anything like that, you wouldn't have a business if people didn't pop up. And so people are investing in me to bring a crowd. They're investing in me to just bring the experience. But I also tell them that we're all a team. We are, when they say, where's the street team? I'm like, we got flyers and posters. I'm still old school with it. And I still do that every single time. But, I wouldn't change a thing. My goal overall, even just doing this 10 years, is just like, for people to really want to know about it and come. I want people to fly in for it. Like, you know what? I saw something called All Things Detroit where all these local businesses there where they get a lot of customers. And I want to be one of those customers to come in and really experience it. And so we have had people that come from like Chicago and Canada and things like that. But I want people to come and really experience, like this experience of the small business community in Detroit, because I think that it is a great experience. And I'm not just saying that because, it's me. But I think that we got some great things going on here. And I think that this event feels different for me. I don't know why. It feels very different. I feel like I've had less worries for this event. I have anxiety every event, every single one. Are people going to come? What's going to happen? Is it going to be like all the time? This event, I haven't stressed everybody out a lot. But this event feels different for me. I feel like it's going to be like a game changer. For whatever reason. Election year is always hard in business. Election year is always hard. 2019, oh my goodness. It was like, what's happening? But this year just feels different for me. I feel like this All Things Detroit holiday event is going to be a game changer. I mean, our Beat the Crowd tickets are almost sold out, which we usually will sell out within like and sell so many within one day. This time we've been selling them since like July. And it's been insane. People have been buying them. They're almost done. And I just think that I'm so excited about this one. I'm only excited after setup for every other event, but this one I'm so excited. And so
That's
it just
cool.
feels different for me.
Well, I'm glad. And also, one more thing as we close,
Hmm.
10 years there, 10 years here, and it's going to be another 10. I'm very much looking forward to more of those collaborations between All Things Detroit and Detroit is Different,
Of course.
and wherever the creativity going to go. Let's rock and roll.
All right.
Peace.
Detroit is Different is where you get information, artistry, history, music, and even comedy. Detroit is Different, a home for the culture of Detroit. Visit online at DetroitisDifferent.com today.